let's talk about stuff that is more relevant for me in the upcoming weeks, because obviously we are heading into the final stretch until the Master Duel World Championships. Now, they haven't announced the exact format for Worlds yet, actually. Like, we don't know. We're just assuming at this point. We're just assuming at this point that it's gonna be the same as last year, right? This pack is already out. I know. I just wanted to go through the announcements one by one. So this Master Saga pack, we can take a look at it in game in a second. But there is another one after this, right? In August, which we don't know that much about yet. But this one is already out. And I think it's bringing only very few interesting cards, but we'll take a more in detail look at it in a moment. The more important thing that I want to highlight here is the return of Heavy Storm to 1 and the unlimiting of Snatch Steal. Now, unlimiting of Snatch Steal is kind of scary. That card is good, but you know, it's at 3 now in Master Duel. Heavy Storm to 1, I personally think is fine. I generally think Heavy Storm is a worse card than Feather Duster these days. It is not a reliable combo starter or anything. Like, I don't think like outside of like Unchained or whatever, like it's not actually a better card than Feather Duster ever. Yeah, no, I think I'm a fan of Heavy Storm being in the game. If Feather Duster is in the game, I feel like Heavy Storm should be too. So yeah, I like it. If anything, the things that you can do with Heavy Storm are like cool interactions, right? Like the fact that I can play Heavy Storm in my Toy Box deck or my Unchained deck or my Tearlament deck to destroy my Sulliek. That's cool. I like that. I don't think you can do anything stupid with Heavy Storm. I think it's all cool stuff. Yeah, so that was that. And then we have another one, which I've also already reacted to on Twitter, but I quickly wanted to go over it anyways and voice my thoughts, because obviously I only said a few sentences on Twitter. This is the new Forbidden and Limited List update, which happens on August 7th, which is not guaranteed, but very likely to be the last update before the World Championships. I don't know if we will get another one before the first week of September. So important. We're going from 2 to 3 Trishulas. That is irrelevant because that card is, if anything, being played at 1. I guess it opens up the room, like some space for future hand looping stuff, which can be scary, but let's be real, at the moment this card is not warranted to be at 2. Infernity Launcher is another card. When it went to 2, I was like, that's kind of scary, but I can't really argue against it. The same is true now. 3 Launcher is kind of scary. At the same time, it didn't see any play at 2, so you can't really argue for it to be at 2. Zeus going from 2 to 3 is completely irrelevant for everyone just playing regular Master Duel ranked or whatever, because you were never playing 3 Zeus anywhere. I don't even know if Zodiac plays 3 Zeuses. I think Zodiac plays like 2, and that's pretty, like, you're pretty comfortable with that. The 3rd Zeus, I think in this case only really matters for the World Championship. If we use the shared card pool format, the fact that you can play 3 Zeuses between your decks is relevant. I think that matters. So that's important to note. Sekka's Light going from 2 to 3, in my opinion, is where this card should always be. Like, Sekka's Light should have never gone onto the ban list, and I still hate the fact that it still is limited in the TCG. This card should not be on the ban list. It's a good card, but it's not... It does not deserve a spot on the ban list. And then we got this little dude back to 3, which I just hate Super Heavy Samurai. So my initial reaction was just like, who asked for this? Like, who wants Super Heavy Samurai to be better than before? And that is kind of like where I stand on this, right? I'm like, why are we bringing back Super Heavy Samurai cards like so soon as well? Like, the deck I feel like was just meta a couple, what is it, months ago? People are still saying like, okay, well, but the crossbow is at 1. so it doesn't really matter. Which maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. Like, it's not gonna return to the metagame probably because of a third copy of this card. But I don't know. I don't like Super Heavy Samurai, so I'm not a huge fan of this change. But I guess if it holds true that one Soul Piercer is enough to make the deck stay away, then whatever. And then we got two really cool bands here. We got two really cool bands that, yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. This is phenomenal, dude. Gimmick Puppet Nightmare has not been touched in the TCG or OCG, but Master Duel, for some reason, are the first ones to do it. Very sick. And this has, honestly, this has huge implications, in my opinion, especially for Worlds. Like, in Master Duel itself, like on Ranked or whatever, you don't play against Branded all that often anymore. It still sometimes sees play, but not that much. But I think this has important applications for like the World Championships, where if it still is the same as last year and you have to bring like 6 different decks or whatever, then the ability, like Branded was definitely going to be in contention for the World Championships. So yeah, there are other options, and they should have banned Albion, but let me say it this way: there are good reasons why people always play Gimmick Puppet Nightmare and none of the other ones, right? Like there's a very good reason why it's always Gimmick Puppet Nightmare, because Gimmick Puppet Nightmare is the most annoying one to deal with and also the easiest one to set up, right? Like, there's other things you can do, but they are not optimal for a lot of reasons, right? Like, other things can be outed by your own Forbidden Droplet, by cards like Enemy Controller or whatever. Like, you can book some of the other floodgates. Like, you could play Book of Eclipse to get rid of some of the other ones that say, like, while this card is here, you can't summon or whatever. Like, this one hits the board, immediately applies, and you cannot play the game for the rest of the turn, right? So, yeah. You can tribute summon over most of them. Like, you have other ways to get rid of the cards, and like that is why everyone is playing Gimmick Puppet Nightmare. And it's the same with floodgates. Like, it always baffles me when like a floodgate gets hit on the ban list and they're like, well, that's not worth anything because people are now going to play that floodgate. And it's like, yeah, well, we have to downgrade step by step, you know? Like, if Branded is still a problem because they now summon, I don't know, Raz Disciple or whatever, well, then we have to do something on a future ban list. You know, this is not the last ban list ever in Master Duel, right? There's going to be more. There's going to be more ban lists in the future. And if Branded still locks people, then I'm sure there's going to be another change to it, right? And so I think this is good. You know, I feel like it's very hard to argue against the fact that these are good changes. Would I have preferred Albion? Yes, because that would have been more future-proof and would have eliminated other options. But, yeah. Is Josh defending floodgates right now? No, you just don't understand what I'm saying. But that's okay.